Trump, North Korea's Kim come together for momentous summit. People watch a TV screen showing file footage of U.S. President Donald Trump, right, and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un during a news program at Seoul Railway Station in Seoul, South Korea, Monday, June 11, 2018. Final preparations are underway in Singapore for Tuesday's historic summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim, including a plan for the leaders to kick things off by meeting with only their translators present, a U.S. official said. AP photo, on June, Singapore, AP, President Donald Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un came together for a momentous summit Tuesday that could determine historic peace or raise the specter of a growing nuclear threat, with Trump pledging that, working together we will get it taken care of. In a meeting that seemed unthinkable just months ago, the leaders met at a Singapore island resort, shaking hands warmly in front of a row of alternating U.S. and North Korean flags. They then moved into a roughly 45-minute one-on-one meeting, joined only by their interpreters, before including their advisors. For all the upbeat talk, it remained to be seen what, if any, concrete results the sit-down would produce. "We are going to have a great discussion and I think tremendous success. We will be tremendously successful," Trump said before their private session. Kim said through an interpreter, "It wasn't easy for us to come here. There was a past that grabbed our ankles and wrong prejudices and practices that at times covered our eyes and ears. We overcame all that and we are here now." In the run-up to the meeting, Trump had predicted the two men might strike a nuclear deal or forge a formal end to the Korean War in the course of a single meeting or over several days. But on the eve of the summit, the White House unexpectedly announced Trump would depart Singapore by Tuesday evening, raising questions about whether his aspirations for an ambitious outcome had been scaled back. The meeting was the first between a sitting U.S. president and a North Korean leader. Critics of this summit leapt at the handshake and the moonlight stroll Kim took Monday night along the glittering Singapore waterfront, saying it was further evidence that Trump was helping legitimize Kim on the world stage as an equal of the U.S. president. Kim has been accused of horrific rights abuses against his people. During his stroll, crowds yelled out Kim's name and jostled to take pictures, and the North Korean leader posed for a selfie with Singapore officials. Trump responded to that criticism Tuesday on Twitter, saying, "The fact that I am having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters." Trump also tweeted, "Meetings between staffs and representatives are going well and quickly, but in the end, that doesn't matter. We will all know soon whether or not a real deal, unlike those of the past, can happen." Addressing reporters on Monday, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo sought to keep expectations in check, saying, "We are hopeful this summit will have set the conditions for future successful talks." The summit capped a dizzying few days of foreign policy activity for Trump, who shocked U.S. allies over the weekend by using a meeting in Canada of the Group of Seven industrialized economies to alienate America's closest friends in the West. Lashing out over trade practices, Trump lobbed insults at his G7 host, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trump left that summit early and, as he flew to Singapore, tweeted that he was yanking the U.S. out of the group's traditional closing statement. As for Singapore, the White House said Trump was leaving early because negotiations had moved more quickly than expected, but gave no details about any possible progress in preliminary talks. On the day before the meeting, weeks of preparation appeared to pick up in pace, with U.S. and North Korean officials meeting throughout Monday at a Singapore hotel. The president planned to stop in Guam and Hawaii on the way back to Washington. Trump spoke only briefly in public on Monday, forecasting a nice outcome. Kim spent the day mostly out of view, until he embarked on the late-night sightseeing tour of Singapore, including the Flower Dome at Gardens by the Bay, billed as the world's biggest glass greenhouse. Trump and Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong sat down for a working lunch at the Istana House. The president sounded optimistic, telling Lee, "We've got a very interesting meeting in particular tomorrow, and I think things can work out very nicely." It was a striking about-face from less than a year ago, when Trump was threatening fire and fury against Kim, who in turn scorned the American president as a mentally deranged U.S. dotard. As it happens, the North Korean and the American share a tendency to act unpredictably on the world stage. Beyond the impact on both leaders' political fortunes, the summit could shape the fate of countless people, the citizens of impoverished North Korea, the tens of millions living in the shadow of the North's nuclear threat, and millions more worldwide. Or, it could amount to little more than a much-photographed handshake. Still, the sense of anticipation was great in Singapore, with people lining spotless streets holding cell phones high as Trump headed to meet Lee. U.S. and North Korean officials huddled throughout Monday at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, outlining specific goals for what the leaders should try to accomplish and multiple scenarios for resolving key issues, a senior U.S. official said, adding that the meetings were also an icebreaker of sorts, allowing the teams to get better acquainted after decades of minimal contact between their nations. Trump's early exit will be his second from a summit in just a few days, as he sought to build a bridge with Kim. He was smashing long-time alliances with Western allies with his abrasive performance at the G7. After his premature departure from Quebec, he continued to tweet angrily at Trudeau from Singapore, saying Monday, "Fair trade is now to be called fool trade if it is not reciprocal." Trump advisors cast his actions as a show of strength before the Kim meeting, alluding to the North's concerns that giving up its nuclear weapons could surrender its primary deterrent to forced regime change. Pompeo told reporters that the U.S. was prepared to take action to provide North Korea with sufficient certainty that denuclearization is not something that ends badly for them. He would not say whether that included the possibility of withdrawing U.S. troops from the Korean peninsula, but said the context of the discussions was radically different than ever before. "I can only say this," Pompeo said. "We are prepared to take what will be security assurances that are different, unique, than America's been willing to provide previously." The North has faced crippling diplomatic and economic sanctions as it has advanced development of its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. Pompeo held firm to Trump's position that sanctions will remain in place until North Korea denuclearizes, and said they would even increase if diplomatic discussions did not progress positively. Experts believe the North is close to being able to target the entire U.S. mainland with its nuclear-armed missiles, and while there's deep skepticism that Kim will quickly give up those hard-won nukes, there's also some hope that diplomacy can replace the animosity between the U.S. and the North. While advisors say Trump has been reviewing briefing materials, the president insists his gut instincts will matter most when he gets in the room with Kim. He told reporters he thinks he will know almost immediately whether a deal can be made, saying, "I will know, just my touch, my feel. That's what I do." Follow apps summit coverage here. http://opni.ws/mpbj5 Singapore Summit News Hub is now active on the AP News site and the mobile app. It showcases app's overall coverage of the event. It can be found here. https://appnews.com/tag/Singapore Summit. Copyright 2018 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, written or redistributed.